Hello, my friends. Welcome to the latest edition of Here's What We Know, the podcast of unexpected conversations. And when the publicist reached out to me and said, "Hey, you want to talk to Steve Griggs?" I'm like, "Steve Griggs? Let me look up Steve Griggs." And I got up and find him and all the stuff. You've seen him on TV. He's been everywhere. And he's a landscape architect. We're going to get into that. But then when I started researching him anymore, I'm like, oh, yeah, he and I are going to be friends. It's Steve Griggs. Welcome to the program, my friend.
Man, you just come in here just jacked up with energy. I love it.
Well, listen, I sit in a room and talk to a stick. It's not like I'm out there trying to install a boulder over a pond.
It's true, very true.
It's what you decided to work hard. How out of touch with reality are you?
Yeah, sometimes I scratch my head. Like, what was I thinking?
Well, here's the thing that I find interesting, because Steve's you've seen him on everywhere. He's been featured in Grant Cardone's Power Players. He's been in Forbes, Wall Street Journal. He was on Bravo's Backyard Envy. I mean, you have raised up to the ranks of being like easily one of the most recognized landscape architects in the country.
So thank you.
Where did it all start? What city? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you bring?
Was born in New York City, in the Bronx, right? Like everybody else, they migrated in the 60s up to the suburbs. So I'm 65. So I was 6 when we moved up to the upstate New York, as they call it, right? But it's really, 30 minutes from Manhattan. Like another world. It's like another planet. Once you cross over that George Washington Bridge, you're like in another time zone. It's weird. It's like grass, trees. When you're in Manhattan, it's the concrete jungle. As soon as you cross that river, a whole nother world.
Honestly, that's every big city anywhere. I live in San Jose, which otherwise, if you've ever heard of Silicon Valley, that's San Jose. And literally from my house right now, I can drive 10 to 15 minutes and be out in nowhere.
Yeah.
So, but my thing is here's the thing. When I was looking you up and just researching you a little bit, New York City boy goes to college at Mississippi State in Starkville, Tennessee.
Starkville, Mississippi.
Starkville, Mississippi. Sorry, I got that all wrong. I have a dear friend who was a D1 athlete. She was a volleyball player at Mississippi State.
Oh.
How in the world did you even find out about Mississippi State? Because I grew up in Alabama and I barely knew about Mississippi State.
Yeah, Mississippi State's like one of those SEC schools that always gets beat down by Alabama, Georgia, LSU. Well, I went to landscape school upstate New York. SUNY Coble School was a 2-year school. And then I advanced my degree in Mississippi. That was one of the better landscape schools. And basically that was the one I got into, right? Love Mississippi, man.
When
Black boy, the whole bit, it was another world.
As I've said, my wife, we when COVID hit and stuff, and everybody was talking about, well, we should move out because it makes no financial sense to stay here in California. Just like I'm sure it makes no financial sense to stay in New York City because it's just expensive.
Yeah.
And we were looking at different places, and she saw like that. What is that? Hometown renovation. The one with the Napiers.
Yeah.
And they're in Laurel, Mississippi.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, look what you could buy. And you watched, it was funny. You watched them, they were buying houses for $20,000.
Yeah.
And the next season, the houses were $60,000. And now it's like any place else. Anytime you create the demand, now you're looking at $300,000 to $400,000. In Laurel, Mississippi, which for those of you who don't know, Laurel, Mississippi, go nowhere, turn left, that's Laurel.
Yeah.
And the idea that it's just, but Starkville is still, if you're looking for a good buy, a good investment, because the prices haven't skyrocketed. Starkville's here.
I can't believe I can't believe Starkville, Mississippi was in the New York coast, that one of the top places to live in the country. When I was there 40 years ago, it was dirt road. Now it's called Stark Vegas.
Because all of us moved out of the expensive places and we wanted to go where we could buy a home. I mean, I can only imagine New York City, same thing in San Jose. I could sell the home I bought here in 2001 and go buy a really nice place in Starkville, Mississippi, and have money left over.
Yeah.
right? And when you get there, you take your, hey, I want this and I want that, and we need to have nice restaurants here, and we have to have all this stuff here.
Yeah.
So I understand. I get it. Do you still follow Mississippi State? Come on, are you a football fan at all?
Yeah, I got another kid that went to Clemson, so I got to follow Clemson and Penn State. So my heart's always a Bulldog.
It's I'm always pulling for Mississippi State because they were always the underdogs,
Always,
right?
man.
And I always tell everybody, listen, everybody talks about the Alabama-Auburn rivalry and Texas-Oklahoma and Ohio State-Michigan. I am telling you the most vicious rivalry that exists in sports, where it ends up in fights almost every damn game, is Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
Yeah, you know your sports.
Oh, dude,
Because
I
they
grew
don't
up
really
there.
have, it's lower economics. They don't really have professional sports. The college athletes come from poor families. They're not getting all this well, now things have changed. Now they're getting all the NIL money, but not like those bigger schools. So they are always the underdog. Always.
And those teams, I don't even know what it is about them that not, listen, I grew up the Alabama-Auburn thing. We don't hate, I'm an Alabama fan. We don't hate Auburn, right? I took my sons wanted to go where dad was from. So we went there this summer, and one of the kids in the elevator had on an Auburn shirt. My son turns around, looks at me, goes, "Roll Tide." And I had to pull him aside and I said, "We don't do that here.
Yeah.
We don't do that. You can be a fan of the other team. That's all right. We're
Yeah.
good. We're
Yeah.
just fan of our team. But the rules are different in the Egg Bowl."
Yeah.
And it's those two teams. Go back and look. You look up fights from the Egg Bowl on YouTube, and it just goes forever.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Did you ever see
know?
a fight? Because you were a cheerleader, which is what
Yeah.
shocked me.
Yes.
But cheerleaders, and listen, when I was the most fit, in shape guy in my fraternity when I went to school was a cheerleader.
Yeah.
He was a former gymnast and track star.
I
Because you had to be able to take the
by the
girls
way,
and throw
I
them up.
was neither. So I just was able to hold them up in the air and flip them around. I wasn't one of those guys that tumbled. I was just basically the guys that held them up and,
Well, you had to be strong, right?
Yeah,
That was the whole thing.
But I never seen that before in New York. I was down there playing intramural soccer and I looked over there and I saw the girls and the guys, beautiful girls hanging out with each other, throwing each other. I says, how do you get that job? Like, what is that? Oh, you try out and you get a scholarship. You mean they'll pay me to do that? Sign me up. Sign me up.
And now the cheerleading at the college squads is just competitive as anybody else.
Yeah, they get scholarships. It's crazy.
Yeah, they get NIL money in some cases.
Ooh, it was fun. Get to travel with the team, and it was good, very good experience. I look back on it, and that was one of the best experiences for sure.
But did you ever see a fight on the field? I mean, come on, you had to be there for an Egg Bowl.
Yeah, I was on the field. I was on the sidelines.
I'm saying. That's why I asked.
The families would not speak to each other. Like, serious. Like, it's like worse than like Trump and Biden people. Like, these people like hated each other. Hated.
That's the thing I can't get. And it's different. It's different from any other thing. Two of my classmates down in Alabama, which is they got together after college and got married. He went and played for Auburn University. She was a proud graduate of University of Alabama, and they're married. And I said, "So how does that work?" She goes, "We have 7 tickets to both games."
Yeah.
I mean, we have 7 season tickets for Alabama. We have 7 season tickets for Auburn. And depending on who they're playing or what's closest, that's who we go to. And
Yeah.
he won't cheer for Alabama, but he's not mean. And I won't cheer for Auburn, but I'm happy to see him. And when they win, I'm happy with it. And I'm like, yeah, because that's the way most normal rivalries are.
Yeah.
They don't end up in fights in the stands.
No,
Unlike
fights.
the Egg Bowl.
Fights, fist fights. Yeah. It's cool. It's all good.
It gets. So who knew there was a landscaping design program in college?
One of the professors that they work together, Mississippi State and SUNY Skill. They work together and they transfer students down there. I went down there, I knew not one person, not a soul. And they just wanted to hear me talk. Do you have grass where you live? This is 40 years ago. No internet. Do you have grass where you live? Can you just talk some more? Like, I'm not kidding.
Southern girls are fascinated by accents that are not Southern.
I'm married now 29 years, but it was beautiful, beautiful icebreaker.
I went to college. We had a student from England,
Oh
right?
yeah, same thing.
And the girls could not get enough of him. And his name was Hugh, Hew. Of course, that's the way English, because they're just there. And he'd wear, this was back in the 80s, and he'd wear green nylon pants and polyester shirts, and I mean just stuff that was not in vogue at all.
And not in Alabama.
And wasn't a good looking
Not in
man.
Alabama.
And I enjoyed him. He was a friend of mine. He lives 2 doors around me from I'm like, dude, it is absolutely amazing. I said, let's be honest. Look at you. There's no way. And he's like, I know, right?
He was even shocked.
I love this country. I love it.
I love it.
It had to be the same for you. Go down a little bit of, I'm walking here. And that just turns into everything for you.
It was good time, for sure.
So I'm fascinated. First of all, let's talk about what a landscape architect is. I think we all have an idea, but as with most cases, we just have the surface idea. We don't know what it all the way takes down to the end of the iceberg.
So real quick, when people said, I'm a landscape architect, they say, I need my lawn mowed, right? That's the first thing they think of, grass cutting, landscaper. There's difference between architect, designer, and artist. I like to put myself in the artist category. Like, I don't really consider myself the architect. It's more artistry, what I do. Does that make sense? Anything to do with the outside, I can take a piece of raw. So basically, I like to consider myself as the artist. Some people paint, some people sculpt, some people create music. My canvas just happens to be your backyard. That's pretty much the best way to put it for me.
Here's my take. The difference between the architect and artist, again, my take.
Sure.
Monetarily. Because once you turn into being able to create a vision, an architect is designing a structure. But when you take it to be able to create a vision, now you're getting into artistry. And there's no quantifying that. I was going to ask you, and we'll get to that. It's like, how do you come up with a cost? Because honestly, they're paying you for your artistry. If you bring in, thinking of Michael Jackson, Eddie Van Halen, you bring in Eddie Van Halen to play your guitar solo. By the way, he didn't make any money off that. But when you do that, you're paying for the art. Could you find somebody to do a really good guitar solo? Sure, that's the architect. Can you take it to the next level like Eddie Van Halen? Now that's artistry.
I love that. That's a good one. I like that because it's very
well. It's because it's like anything else, right? I mean, you can get anybody to, what's the difference in clothing? What's the difference? How can you charge $500,000 for a Bugatti or a Lamborghini? Because it's artistry. Right? Because they're sitting there bringing all that up. And in your stuff, because I was watching some of your stuff, and it's like, I build cool stuff for rich people. That's what I do. And listen, I'd say that with admiration. I mean, have you ever had somebody just come in and go, I don't care what it costs. I don't care what it costs. The budget is whatever you can do. Have you ever had that?
It's funny you say that because even the richer they get, the more frugal they are, right? They want value. They don't mind spending the money, but they want to know they're getting a deal. They want to know its value. Really, there's never spend what you want. I say it's going to cost what it costs. Whatever it's going to cost, it's going to cost. Like, I don't know what it's going to actually cost, right? Like, I have to make sure the job is done right, on time and on budget, and make sure it's going to last. And it costs what it costs. And they kind of, okay, but you always have to have that come to Jesus money talk, always.
Isn't that weird? I mean, because building a backyard paradise in upstate New York requires a different approach than building a backyard paradise in San Jose or San Diego, California. Or you're going to use Alabama. It 12 months a year.
Exactly. Yeah. And you got permitting. The same with you guys out there. The permitting takes me 6 months to get a pool permit. Down south, I could just go out back and dig a hole, right? Probably, but so there's all that to put in. And the time frame, you can only use it 3 or 4 months out of the year in New York. That's why we develop longer lasting outdoor spaces, fireplaces, heaters, outdoor kitchen. So you try to expand the season as long as you can.
Well, that's the thing here. I mean, we use our backyard almost 12 months a year,
All the time.
right? I mean, a cold day in San Jose is 58, 59, which,
That's not
is it
bad.
chilly? Yeah. But we can turn on the fire pit and we're there,
Yeah, no, cold
you
day in New
know?
York is 8, 5.
Exactly
I
right.
mean,
Imagine if you were doing backyard landscaping in North Dakota.
it's just raw.
It's like I can build you an igloo or a dome.
But we work through the winter. We got to set up tents, put heaters in it because it's impossible to squeeze 12 months of work that you have on the books in 4 months. Like you have to get it, you have to figure out ways to do it during the winter.
See, that's what I was talking about. That right there. When we have an idea of what it's like, but we don't understand of what it's like, right? You don't think about how long it takes. What's the longest project you ever had under construction?
It could take a year. We just finished one. It started last September. We just finished it in April, May, June, I think it was. How to dig the pool, how to build a pool house, how to wait till the winter to finish the pool because you can't put the plaster in the pool in the winter. So you got to wait till it's 60 degrees. And then you can't plant it in the winter. So you got to wait till May to plant it. So by the time you're all done, it's June. And I tell people, don't try to plant a pool. Don't call me in March and tell me you want to be swimming by Memorial Day because I get that a lot.
Wow.
It takes a while.
And you need to go out and buy yourself a blow up pool.
And yeah, exactly. Or they come to me with the phone and they start giving me the Pinterest. The wife starts scrolling the Pinterest and I want this. They don't know what they just want this. Cost. They don't know cost. They just want that picture. They just want something. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is that the
And
biggest
then I got to
mistake?
take it, put it in my mind, price it, execute it, and try to make a profit, right? So there's a lot of moving parts.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about when trying to set the price, and people have sat back and go, "Listen, I would like this." It's like going to the steak restaurant. This happened a couple of weeks ago. Went to the steak restaurant, and the steaks were expensive as hell. And then the lady said, "Oh, and these are our dry aged steaks down here." And I've got 2 teenage boys, and I said, "We will not be ordering from that man. No, 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 no. These very expensive steaks are enough for us. The crazy expensive steaks are not for us. That's for a different customer altogether." And do you find that a lot? I want this. Yeah, well, that's going to cost you $250,000. What can I get for 28,000?
Yeah, I want this, but I only want to spend this. So, it's not like, okay, do what it takes and I'll give you the bill when I'm all done. You get a few clients like that. I'll give you the bill when I'm done and I'll tell you what it's going to cost. Usually they want to know what's this? What am I looking at here? I understand there's going to be a few odd changes, but I need to know the number. It comes down to the number.
Well, that's the thing about the number.
And I can't really nail a number because it's artistry and it's very hard to be. So you have to really some jobs
And
you
you
do
don't
better.
know what and you don't know what you don't know.
Don't know what you don't know.
That's what a buddy of mine's a surgeon. And he was asking me, he goes, "Hey, when do you get, to do your radio show? When do you get there?" And I'm like, 15 minutes before I go on the air. And he goes, "You have to get there and prep?" I said, "Hey, dude, you got a 6 a.m. surgery. When do you get there?" He goes, 5:30, 5:45, just in time to wash up. I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because I don't know what I'm going to find until I make the cut. I
Ooh.
can't prep for it." And I'm like, exactly.
That's a good one.
The difference is if I screw up, nobody dies. Right?
Yeah.
So that's a good thing for me. If I screw up, there's a little bit of dead air, or I say peckerhead on the air.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Because I'm versed enough to do it that I'm not going to say anything really bad. And that's the same thing with me. Any kind of those projects, you don't know what you're going to find till you start digging. You don't know what you're going to find in a house structure until you get all the way in the middle of it.
Yeah. Most people are pretty understanding. If I'm digging a pool and I hit solid rock and I got to bring in the hammers and jackhammer, you kind of get that. But there's still a lot of unforeseen things that you try to make sure that what you don't want to do is when they're spending that kind of money, you want to make sure that you can make a profit, that you're covered, and that if something goes wrong, you can fix it, right? And you don't want to go back there nickel and dime. You don't want to go. That's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, I can see that, especially with what you do. You're a want, not a need, right? I mean, because
No,
most people, it's like,
I'm actually since COVID, I'm a need now. Like
well,
people need to have a beautiful mentally, you need to have a beautiful space that you can call your own. But there's different levels to it. I can get just as wet in a Target blow up pool as I can in the $300,000 swimming pool, right? So it depends on, you know, it depends on what you're going after. It's like the
I
steak.
see your point.
It's like the steak.
I see your point, but it's one of those things that if we have to wait for a year, we're not going to die,
Yeah,
right? But if we have a bad roof, we can't wait for a year.
correct.
That's a
Correct.
that's a need.
Yeah, that's a need. Yeah, yeah.
And so what you have is a want. And we want a bigger backyard. We want a nicer backyard. And so at least you're dealing with those people, right? That if you're going into it knowing, listen, I recorded this while my wife's on a business trip because she found out I was talking to you. She'd be in here and go, "Hey, can we? Do you?" No, 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 no. No. Yes.
Yes, he's crank it down. Yep.
But it's because it's the want, and
And they
she
also
dreams
see
about.
it. They also see it as an investment too. Like, hey, if I'm here and I fix this up, so they're thinking about it from all ends. My house is going to be a cool place to go to. I'm going to get to enjoy it, and then the value can bring it up too because they're always thinking. They're always the wheels are always spinning.
Do you get a return on investment that's really good? Like, I had a big plumbing project, and I'm like, well, at least we'll be able to get that back if we ever decided to sell the house. And my buddy who's in realty said, no, you won't. Not plumbing. You won't. You can get a
Not
roof
plumbing.
back. Yeah, you can get a roof back. A roof adds value back to your house. What about the backyard things that you do? If you spend $250,000 on your backyard, and I'm just picking a number out of thin air,
Yeah,
100,000. Do you get that back?
I've seen studies where it can increase the value of the home by 20%. Now, again, curb appeal when you're selling your home. Let's say you're going to move and the front looks nice and pristine. The grass is good. The bushes are trimmed. That's going to be the first thing people see when they drive by. So that's perceived value. And then in the backyard, we can create privacy with big trees. People love privacy. They love, a nice patio in the backyard. So it's their own space. Is the pool a good investment in New York? I don't know, but people do them all the time, right? Um, so there's certain things it's keeping up the value of the house. You're going to use it more than you're going to use your plumbing, except for your toilet, right? You said you did a big plumbing project. No one's going to come in and say, "Hey, I put $20,000 in my plumbing." They're going to be like, "Who cares?
Yeah.
Show me the plumbed hot tub."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I bought this house because it had a pool, and where I grew up in South Alabama and in poverty, I just sat back and said, if I could ever buy a house with a pool, it means I've made it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And I bought a house with a pool, and I was single at the time, and I learned to hate the pool because it was always cold. It was too hard to heat up. But once I got married and had my children, damn, am I glad I got that pool. That pool is so cool. Literally, when we get off the recording thing of this, I'm going to walk right outside of the sliding glass door and jump in that pool.
yeah. It's good exercise too, by the way. Swimming's very good exercise.
Well, and it's just so nice to have it.
Yeah,
Right. So I get it. I understand the pool things. And I see some of these. We've got friends who live in Scottsdale, Arizona, and they just went bonkers on their backyard. And it's like, I get it though. And they've got 5 kids. I'm like, totally get it. It makes absolute
so
sense. And when you guys sell this place, you're going to sell it to another family that has 4, 5, 6 kids.
Yeah, but you also want to, you don't want to. If your house is worth 200 grand, you don't want to spend 500,000 on the backyard. So you want to make sure it's designed properly to fit the neighborhood, your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't want to look like Vegas back there either, right? So, you know,
Did you notice the difference? This is what I noticed since you lived in the South for a while.
mm,
I didn't see the backyard phenomenon until I moved out west. If you think about it, most of the property in Southern homes was your front yard. Your front yard was where you had your porch, you had your wraparound porch, you had big front yards. That's how you knew you made it. If you had a big front yard,
yeah,
That was because the backyard was just where the dog stayed, and it was storage
Yeah.
where you hung up your clothes, right? I mean, that's what it was. Nobody thought about, hey, our backyard. It was till I got out here, and especially when you have, because in the South, listen, you don't want to go out outside in Alabama in January or July. You just don't. It's hard. But here, it's doable 12 months a year. But I'd never seen the
Nice. 12 months
backyard
a year.
phenomenon.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Hey, I play golf 12 months a year,
Not bad.
right? Oh, I remember a station in Minnesota was trying to hire me years ago. And I said, I just don't think it's going to work. He goes, I just don't think I think you're letting the weather scare us off and it scare you off. And it was like late November. And I said, hey, man, what are you going to do when we get off the phone here?
Shovel my,
He goes, what do you mean? I said, what are you going to do?
Shovel.
And I said, is your car plugged in? He goes, yeah, because they plug it in so it'll stay warm.
Yeah.
I said, is your car plugged in? He goes, yeah. I said, I got a pair of shorts on. I'm going to throw on a sweatshirt and go play night.
Different. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
It's like, yeah, I hear you. Almost couldn't agree more.
Well, I'm fascinated by it. There's a book. You can get Steve's book called Straight Dirt, New York City's Premier Designer Tells It Like It Is. And I loved how you said, this is not a how-to book.
Mm-mm.
This is a what to look for book. What? And again, I'm not asking you to give away trade secrets. I'm not going to ask you.
I don't mind. You can ask me any trade secret you want. I mean,
I'm just asking this. What are the big mistakes people make?
Oof.
If you had to sit back and go, here's the 3 biggest mistakes I see homeowners make when they want I'm just going to use the term vanity project, because like you said, you do nice stuff for rich people. What are the big mistakes they make?
Since they don't, some of them don't really know the construction end of it, the materials, the quality of construction. So they'll just look at price. Not all of them, but like a typical homeowner will get 3 bids and they'll go for the lowest bid. That's just typical. People are just trained to do since their fathers were in 1930. Get 3 bids, always got to get 3 bids. A bid tells you nothing. It just tells you scope of work, and it just gives you the price. It doesn't tell you if you're qualified. It gives you the materials. You got to look deeper than that. It's so much more than that. Don't go, there's a price versus cost, right? I can give you a cheaper price, but the cost is going to be higher because I'll use less gravel, less something. And you have to call the guy back every year because the pavers are settling. It's going to cost you more to keep fixing it. So I always say, do it once and do it right. Listen, I'm probably you'll spend the most money with me, but you'll never have to call me again. It'll be, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I warranty the stuff. Like, I'm not one of those guys that says, oh, I give you a 12-month warranty. I give you a lifetime. That from the marketing standpoint has helped a lot. Like, you always stand behind your work. Like, even if it costs you $500, better than giving it to Zuckerberg for a Facebook ad. And that builds credibility, right? So they're going to say, here's this guy, Steve. He didn't have to warranty this plan. He came back 3 years later and replaced that plan. That's golden because they all kind of hang out together, right? They all hang out together. They go to the same club. They play golf together. So they know the same people. So you want to become the guy, not just another guy. You want to become the guy. Like, it's so important.
When they say I got a guy for that, you want to be that guy.
I'm the guy, man. You got a guy. You got to be the guy. You can't just be another guy because you'll be competing on price. And when you compete on price, you're going to lose.
When you're the guy, it's the hardest lesson to learn, turn down to some jobs, because if you spread yourself too thin, then what happens?
You get those. We talked about red flags. You talked about, she's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare, but sometimes you get burnt. Sometimes everybody starts out nice and it goes sour for whatever reason. So you try to have your spidey senses, try to get that vibe going. You got to have the good vibe. I always have to meet the people. Have to make sure we're in sync. Otherwise, it's no fun. Don't need the headache. Need the headache.
Well, I can only imagine, because anybody in the service industry, and honestly, let's be real. You and I are similar ages. Let's be real. The worst people to deal with in my situation are guys our age, in our generation. right? Because they expect it. They expect whatever you're going to do. They're the guys who go to the car wash and then stand outside of the guy and go, "You missed a spot." And I'm always like, again, and you never see a 26-year-old guy do that. And you don't see 33-year-old women do it, but you'll see a 60-year-old guy. Hey, you get in right here. Yeah. And I just want to go, hey, Homer, then you wash the car.
Yeah, people just you just want to treat everybody like you want to be treated. Right? I can respect the workers because I know what they go through when it's 90 degrees and they're out there killing themselves. So you try to but most people, I have to say, knock on wood, have been extremely easy to work with, pleasant, but occasionally you do get those jobs that don't go as well and you have to deal with it, right? So that's why you're the guy. When shit hits the fan, they want to know that you're the guy to fix it. That's why you become the guy. Like anybody can draw a pretty picture. I believe when you do a design, they have AI now, anybody can draw a pretty picture. But now you have to take that picture and freaking build it. That's the hardest part. Drawing the picture part is the easy part. It's executing the project is key.
You say that because you're an artist, but I would push back on you. Hell no, it's not. It's not easy to see that vision. It's not easy to look in the backyard and go,
good point.
How about this? How about that? I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it at all. I can't go in my backyard and tell you, oh, I think we should do this and do. I can't.
You couldn't do it, huh?
No way, because my mind doesn't think that way.
See,
right?
I'm going to ask you a question on this. I've been doing this so long, 40 years. It's you on the radio show. Like, you just click the mic on and just go. But like for me, it's the same thing. It's like I can't. You don't see that? No, they don't see that. So typically, I'll bring a can of Rust-Oleum spray paint, old school.
Yeah.
Like I'll spray the pool right on the grass, and now they start to see it. You want to get them emotionally involved because now they say, "Oh, that's where the pool's going to be. Oh, that's where the fire pit's going to be." You spray it out with, turf paint. Like they mark the football field. You spray the whole backyard out before you even put it on paper and do 3D rendering, so they can kind of get the vision, right? Because you're right, most people can't see it, and a lot of people can't do that with a spray can.
Not at all. Not at all. You've seen the guys, the artists who could just draw a face real quick.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow. And I've talked to them, and they're like, you're just drawing a face.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can't draw a face.
Not at all, right? I mean, Ted Williams hit 400. He was a great baseball player, iffy coach, because his whole thing was, how do you hit 400? You see the ball and you hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. When you see elite anyone, elite singers, elite athletes, elite scientists, they just see stuff that I don't think the rest of us see. Right? Like my ex-wife is a molecular biogeneticist.
Oh, geez.
I put her through college. And I remember
that sounds pretty technical.
Listen, I have this one weakness when it comes to women. Smart.
They
got to be smart.
That's smart.
My girlfriend in college is an engineer for NASA. My ex-wife is, like I said, a molecular biogeneticist. I dated a woman who was a VP at one of the tech companies for a number of years, and then I'm married to a woman who's high up at another tech company. I can't do dumb. I can't do dumb. And what I'm very lucky is if you can find beautiful, smart women with low standards, oh man.
Golden. Low maintenance.
Oh, that's the best. And if they have a low tolerance to alcohol, I got my wife knocked up so quick it made her head spin. That's when you're in there. But the whole point of the story is I would help her study for mathematics things. And she would have flashcards and I would just go, okay, X over Y to the 10th, sigma 4. And she would do 10 minutes. And I'm like, how do you do that? She goes, it's a language. If you say this, then you have to say this. And if you say that, then this theorem comes into play. And if you say that, then that thing. And I take it to any elite situation, just like you. And you say, oh, I just draw the pool. Because you speak that language. You can see where the pool would be. You will draw it where it's like, well, this is where it makes sense. Where if I came out, I'd draw that same thing and you'd go, oh, hell no, you don't want to put it there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, I know it's your experience and I know it's your knowledge, but it's also something that's in you. Because if it wasn't something that you were really, really good at, you'd have got out. The business would have churned you out a long time ago.
I don't see. Yeah. Like it's just natural, but yeah. So maybe I should start doubling my prices some more then, huh?
Exactly. How do you set a price? How do you set a price, right? I mean,
Oh,
because the same thing. I mean, I have a business and we do this stuff and we try to set prices. One of the hardest things because I want to be a good price. I want to be something you can afford, but I also don't want to be a price that takes two committees to
yeah.
go, I don't know. I want to be a price that somebody can go, oh,
Yes.
yeah, we can afford that. Here, take it.
Yeah. You want to build jobs. You want to do jobs. You want to work.
Yeah. And you want to make as much money as you can, though. You don't want to cost yourself by giving somebody a deal where you end up making $10 a profit.
At Reed Animal Hospital, they treat your pet as if it was their own. Now, I'm a very satisfied customer. I can tell you they mean that. It's not a chain. It truly is about helping you and your pet enjoy life together. Dr. David Reed and his entire staff take the time to get to know you and your pet. I can tell you what I like. He's helped me better understand what my dog Luna needs and how I can take care of her more efficiently and kindly. Find them online at reedanimalhospital.com. 2 locations, Saratoga and Campbell. Little secret from me to you, Dr. Reed actually gives you his cell number so he can answer your questions and concerns. They really are committed to you and your pet. reedanimalhospital.com.
I've lost money on jobs a lot of times. Like, because you can't really, it's very hard to like guess unless you just throw so much money on top of it to cover yourself, but you don't want to do that either. Then you look like a pig. Then you're going in so high, but you got to figure a way to present the project in a way where, listen, like you said earlier, I can't tell you exactly what it's going to cost. I'm not a mathematician, scientist, a geologist that looks in the ground to see all these different weather. You got all these factors that come into it that very risky to give them a set price, but they all like to have that set price. So you kind of roll in the dice a little bit. That's why you got to be very efficient. You have to make sure you have good teams. You cannot waste time. You cannot waste product. You have to be efficient. Take advantage of the nice weather because weather's a huge factor here. Yeah. So all these things. And at the end of it, I got to have a few dollars left over to kind of eat and, so it's so you're right. It's not that easy.
What you're doing, you want to have more than a few dollars left over because you have to go to the next job, right? So you're wanting to, trying to find that healthy profit, but not an absorbent profit, right?
Correct.
And so it's like, I don't want to make $1,000 on this. I don't need to make $500,000, but 75,000 would be nice. 125,000 would be nice because that's a lot of my effort going into it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of my stress because that's what you do. I try to tell my guests, listen, there's no stress on you. Stress is on me. Whenever I get to be a guest on somebody else's podcast, man, that's the easiest gig in the world, right? That's just me because the stress is no longer on me. It's on you. And when you take over those positions like you do, when you do those jobs, they have to pay for it. But you take over the stress. You deal with the contractors. You deal with the guys.
But you're right. You're right. I probably do not charge enough because I don't, because when you factor all that in, it's all on me, right? Like they just want to come home and swim. They just want to write a check. I just want to write a check. When I did my house, I redid my house. I just want to write a check. I don't want to deal with, I'm not dealing with you plumbers, electricians. It's a headache. I just want to write a check.
Well, I saw, because again, I do my research on you and you were talking about, hey, listen, if you can be somebody who manages construction projects, the interview you gave is like, call me, I've got business for you, because nobody wants to have to manage all of that stuff. That's the hard part about any home project.
What, managing, trying to get coordinating? Oh,
yeah.
That's all I do all day. All I do, just what I've learned from my father early on. I've worked for a couple of tough guys in New York City. Like, you got to hold them to a high standard. Like, you cannot just not show up. You can't just say the truck broke down. You go rent the truck. You got to figure it out. Like, you cannot be the cog in the wheel. No way.
And then when you find those good employees, you hold on to them.
Yeah, well, basically the model that I have is that I had the employees. Now, basically the model is We design it and we orchestrate the entire process, right? So I have a pool of like 30 different companies that I can pull from wherever the location is. Some guys are good at stonework. Some guys are good at lighting. So I can pull these different subcontractors together and I oversee the project. It's like when somebody builds a house. When you hire a home builder, he's not swinging a hammer. He's coordinating all the people, but he's not doing the work. They never do the work. So we project manage and we just oversee it and just make sure the process goes smoothly, because a lot of the times the subcontractors they're technicians and they're not well versed in like client communication and all that stuff that goes into it, the back end of it that you have to have, lead times on material and scheduling, and like they just show up and work. So my job is to help them make a profit, right? So if they win, I win. So I'm telling them, instead of you taking your truck and driving 50 miles and beat it up, just get the guy to deliver it for $200, right? Try to get a bigger machine that can work 3 times as fast instead of going with the wheelbarrow. If you got to pour concrete, get the concrete that pumps the concrete in instead of you guys wheelbarrow. So my job is to try to help them through all my years of knowledge and experience of getting my ass kicked, to try to help them, because then everybody wins. Oh yeah, getting ass kicked is like, must be just one of them hard-headed guys, because technically I should have quit 100 times. Like I should have. But
but you didn't, because the best thing about me when I got into broadcasting 150,000 years ago.
Yeah,
is the best thing that I think ever happened to me is the good Lord put his hand on me and said, when the business is done with you, it'll spit you out. And then you'll get on with your life, whatever it is. Right. And so I never went into it thinking this business owed me a living. Right.
No,
I just figured when it was over, it was going to be a fun ride and I'm going to enjoy it while I do it. And there you go. And that came along with a lot of weird situations and crazy things and zigs and zags and left turns and all that. The same thing with you. If the business really wanted you out of it,
I never thought of it that way. Like I've had 2008 when, shit hit the fan and the recession came. I still stuck it out. I could have bagged it easily. Could have worked for somebody and did it. But, I think I'm still I still have the passion for it. Like, I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, it's what I do. I don't know. I don't play golf. I'm not a golfer like you. Like, I like to hunt. I like creating stuff. It's part of it. It just comes with it.
I said I had lunch at one of the big Silicon Valley tech companies yesterday. And, this is one of those
Do
companies.
They work out there, or do they work, or they just ride around on skateboards?
They work their ass off.
I heard they'll stay like 3 days.
Well, I went out there to have lunch because one of the coolest things about these big Silicon Valley companies is they don't want the workers to leave. So they make these amazing, huge cafeteria restaurants, and they are stunning. And it is so much fun. And so my buddy had said, "Hey, come out and have lunch with us today." And I asked him, I said, "How long have you been here?" He's 20 years. And this company has really grown in the last few years. So I'm like, "Oh, you've made a pretty good amount of money." And he was telling me about this guy who was, this company has over 70,000 employees now. When he came on, he was
70,000?
70,000. And that's how we keep score in Silicon Valley. The lower your employer number is, the more stock you have, the more money you pay. So he was employee 3,156, right? Well, he was telling me about a guy who still works there who was employee 21.
I mean, he doesn't have to work there anymore.
Billions. He's made billions. And I asked him, I said, is he still working? He goes, he's thinking about retiring next year. I said, why does he keep doing it? He goes, he loves the work.
He loves
it.
I
said, is that you? And he goes, yeah, I love the work. There's nothing more fun to me than trying to figure out a problem and fix it. And I'm like, wow. See, money's wasted on you hard driving types. By God, you give me $1 billion and I'm a vapor trail. Steve, you'll never see me again.
You're out.
I'm gone. That's it. The only time you'd see me is for me to hire you to build my dream backyard. And my dream backyard would be an 18-hole golf course.
That's it. Just build your own course.
I know a guy who did that.
Yeah.
He worked in radio, and back in the 80s and 90s when you could make money, he made $2 and $3 million a year, which would be like $15 to $20 million
Yeah, he
now.
built himself a golf course.
But he took the money and he bought airline patents. So anytime he bought all these little airline patents. So whenever they would build a plane and need this widget, he could get money from it. And so he ended up making a gazillion dollars. And what he did is he moved to Kentucky and built his own golf course.
There you
And
go.
I'm like, attaboy. See, now that's how you use your money.
That's how you use it. You got to have a nice pool to cool off.
Well, and that's the thing, because I was listening to you and reading some of your stuff, and you built a hockey rink for someone.
Yeah, they come up with whatever. Pool up on top of a mountain. I had the pool in the basement.
A pool in the basement.
Yeah, pool in the basement. Just they hire me to think. Like, I don't get paid to build a patio. They hire me to think. Like, I'm not afraid of the hard job. The hard jobs are the best jobs, right? The hard jobs.
Wow.
When before the pool company says it's impossible, you're never going to get a pool up there. We figured it out. We just built a road.
Was that the hardest job?
No.
Would you say that was the hardest job?
And 34 stories up in Manhattan was probably the hardest job. Like,
You built a pool on the 34th floor?
No, it was just a garden on a 30-foot, but just the legit, just getting stuff up in the elevators and bags of dirt. It's just, parking tickets. It's a little tough working in Manhattan. I mean, it's tough in the city. I just the one that popped in my head. But yeah,
that person couldn't have asked for a budget. I mean, come on. When they're going, I want a garden on the 35th floor, you don't get to get chintzy about cost at that point, do you?
You have to cover yourself. You have to make sure you have to know what you're doing, because you'll get burned. I got burned several times doing those big jobs. Underbidded, lost money, but you just keep going. I mean, like you, 40, how long you been in the radio gig? 40?
1976. I got 1976.
So I'm 65. Been doing this. You were doing this a little longer than me, actually.
Yeah, I started when I was 13 years old.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is. And it's one of those kind
of
deals.
Right? Time flies. It's like you look back, it's like, oh my God.
I went to college and majored in English literature because I didn't know anybody who enjoyed their jobs or had fun for a living. So I subconsciously thought there's no way you can do something fun for a living.
That's what you thought.
That's what I thought. And then a guy I'd worked with said, hey, we've got this gig in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Why don't you come work yet? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm getting my teaching degree. And he goes, let me explain your career choices to you. You can teach Shakespeare to 10th graders. You can come sit in a room and talk to a stick. And I've seen you talk to the stick. And I think you like it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And so I thought I'd come out.
Right away when I first heard you, like I didn't even, before you even like looked you up or this guy's like radio guy. Like I knew like instantly. I said that for instantly. I go, this guy's made for radio. Sure. Like,
well, I got into the tail end of what we used to call the boss jocks, and you're old enough to remember it. They had it in New York, and Cousin Brucey was one. WABC, New York, with that big voice like that. And Don Imus was a little bit on that, where they were the big voice. I've never been. I'm just happy to be alive.
Yeah.
And so that's what it sounds like. I come in every day and go, wow, look at this. I get to talk to a landscape architect.
And then go swimming after this.
And then go swimming.
I mean, come on. I know people that got to drive to Manhattan an hour and a half each way, drive or take the train, and then schlep back. That's not for me.
I've never been to New York City. Never.
It's a big city. It's just
really. You would think I made it to.
I would think you would
DC.
be a guy like you would be in New York City. Like you just seem like the New York guy.
Well, I made it to Washington D.C. finally this year. I have a 13 and a 15-year-old, Steve, because this right here is the face of optimism. And they're my only children. So I have a 13-year-old, and it was his 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. And my wife's like, you should go.
They all go to Washington, for like the 8th grade trip. Yep.
Yeah, you should go because you've never been. And I'm a huge history buff. So I'm like, okay. And she's like, well, now we got to get you to New York City. And I'm like, okay, when we find the time, we'll do it. Because my thing, listen, I'm like anybody else. I'm a complete tourist. I want to see a Broadway play, and I want to try the New York pizza. That's all I want to do.
You should. I mean, the New York play, like it's like I'll go to Madison Square Garden and check out an event, like a concert. Yeah, like it's nothing like it, right?
Well, I'm a runner too, and I'd like to run Central Park when it's safe.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. Just don't
So
go in,
that,
I'm not gonna do it at the middle of the night, but people run all the time there.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, you could go do that. And that's the kind of the New York experience too. But, dude, let's go out to dinner at 11:30.
That's what they
Right?
do.
It's the city that never sleeps. I mean, that's the kind of here in San Jose, and we're almost 2 million people. Good luck finding a restaurant after 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm not even kidding. 8:30, 9 o'clock, almost every restaurant you can think of is closed.
Really?
Except
Like,
McDonald's.
people don't go
and
out
Jack
to
in the
they
Box.
eat, like I said, the same. We're in New York City. People going out to eat at like 10 o'clock at night. Like I can't eat at 10 o'clock at night. They're just going out to eat. Oh yeah.
I'm past
Different
that age and
lifestyle. Yeah. I'm not eating a steak at 10 o'clock at night. I'll be laying there all night. You know that.
Gosh, I had some beef jerky yesterday afternoon because I didn't have a chance to actually get a meal, and I'm trying to run around to practices. So I got some beef jerky at Trader Joe's, and
Oof.
it was like, and I ate some beef jerky, and Lord, like about an hour later, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
God, I wonder if I'm dying right now.
Didn't feel good. Didn't sit right.
No, and it's like,
You're not 21 years old either to be eating beef
yeah, you're
jerky.
that age. Remember when you were that age where you're like, you could have had the worst thing in the world, and you're like, give me 15 minutes, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And now it's like
No.
anything, it's like, am I dying? Is this the end?
Oh, no, you gotta go easy on the food.
But I love it so much. I heard from a buddy today he's training for 100-mile race. And I'm like, you run it in 2 days. And I said, there is no damn way. The only reason I would even think about that is if I got to eat all the food.
Yeah.
All the food. Not some of it, all the food.
So 100-mile race in 2 days. Yeah. What is that? Like
Crazy.
I've seen those.
It's some in Alaska and something. It's just crazy.
That's great though.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And my I'll tell you this, my wife's dream for our backyard is we've got a grill out there. She wants a nice kitchen out there. And here's the other thing. I may be the only male in existence right now. My wife wants a TV in the backyard, and I don't.
Why?
She goes, we could watch the game, we could watch a movie. And here in San Jose in Northern California, there's so many people who have backyard TVs. And I'm like, you can't see them. Sun, glare. If you have a lot of people, you can't hear them. Can't hear what's going on. So they're just a background prop, right? It's just not there. And listen, I want to sit on my couch and watch the game.
Oh, you sit outside at night with the fire pit with the game on. Beautiful.
As I told my wife, the next time I tell you no will be the first time I've told you no.
She's gonna have a TV.
So yeah, it's like I always sit back and say, everybody, my friends give me all kind of grief, and I'm like, I always tell them guys, just because I don't care about having a TV out back there doesn't mean we won't end up with one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to watch it, but I'm the same way at my house. Like, okay, well, what are you gonna say?
Yeah.
No, can't have it.
Listen, I only legally and morally get to see one woman naked for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
I'm making sure she's happy.
Yeah, exactly. Keep her happy, man.
That's all I'm
That's
asking.
it.
We've got Steve's, all of his info is on our thing, links to the book and everything else. I knew I was going to have such a good time with you. The more I studied with you, I told you, why did I start this podcast off by saying we were going to be friends?
Yeah, you did your homework. I'm very impressed, man. Like
I told you, and
we've been bullshitting for almost an hour. That's great.
Yeah,
like, it feels like 10 minutes. Yeah,
I was sitting there and I was doing my research on you, and I saw you on a lot of these other nuts and bolts podcasts and business podcasts and stuff, and I'm like, he's a hell of a lot more fun than they're letting him be.
I'm fucking crazy, Doug.
Exactly what I said. He's a hell of a lot more fun than they are letting him be right now. So we're going to take the cap off and have a little fun. Listen,
I like to have fun at the job. I like to I'm a pain in the ass, but that's good though, because they respect that, right? And I will never ask them to do something I won't do, right? I always bring the Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I always take care of them, and they appreciate that because they know if I have to get on that machine and dig a hole, I will do it. I'll make a mess, but I will do it. So,
well, Well,
That's what we
when
do.
you come to a job in Silicon Valley, come hang out with me. We'll have a cigar and a glass of something in the backyard.
Love that, baby. I don't drink, but I do smoke a good cigar and watch a good football game.
I'll have it. Listen, I said we'll have a glass of something, didn't I?
Yeah. So
I never said we were going to have a cocktail.
So do you still watch Alabama football? Auburn?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're
man. Listen, I have so much Alabama gear because my mother-in-law has no idea what to buy me. So every birthday and Christmas, I get more Alabama gear.
Yeah.
I never bought one thing.
Same here.
And so here in San Jose, everybody thinks of me as the Alabama guy because they see me in sweatshirts and pants.
But you're really an Auburn guy, but you wear the Alabama.
No, hey, I don't need that kind of slander. I'm not sitting back saying you're an old rebel, Emma. You're not an old Miss guy.
I mean, you can't be. I mean, Alabama. Yeah, everybody's. It was always like the last few years. So my son went to Clemson in 2018 where they beat out. There was a few years ago. It was either Alabama or Clemson. Like those were great. 1 year, one would win, 1 year would next. And they would go at it for like 5 years straight, right? Remember that? Like 2018,
they had the national championship game with Trevor Lawrence here in San Jose. Where the Niners
so that's
play.
the first year my son went to Clemson. And he's like, this is what it's like? Yeah.
My buddy, who knows I'm an Alabama fan, he's like, hey, I've got us seats in the Dr. Pepper box, which is on the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm like, it's good to have rich friends. That's all I'm saying. And he goes, you're going to go with me. I'm like, okay, let's go. And we're sitting there watching that game. And during warmups, a ball never hit the ground for Clemson. Never. And Alabama, if people forget, Tua was coming off a severe high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the booth, in the box with a guy who used to play quarterback for Clemson. And he goes, or not Clemson, for Boise State. He goes, I've had that injury. And, he had played the week before and played great. He goes, the painkillers work for about 9 to 10 days. He goes, so last week he didn't feel any pain, but this week he feels pain.
Oh, he saw it. He called it.
He's telling me. And he goes,
watch him.
If he's not playing well by halftime, Saban should pull him and put Jalen Hurts in, right?
That's right. Well, that's when they had Hurts.
The first play, pick six. And then the second series, 3 and out. And I said, looks like halftime. He goes, he should pull that kid right now. But he didn't do it because you remember what he'd done the year before? He pulled Jalen Hurts to stick to attack Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
And so he didn't want to have the reputation of I'm the guy who pulls the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not saying Jalen would have won the game, but it would have been a different game because Clemson just sat back and said, you can't run the ball. So we're just going to rush our 4 and we're going to have everybody else back because you can't run the ball.
They couldn't run it.
If you put Jalen Hurts in there and all of a sudden you're just rushing 4 and all your defensive backs are back, that kid will take off for 40, 50, 60-yard run.
He turned out to be very good.
Yeah, so there you go. And at some point, we knew this was always going to turn into a football discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Steve, my friend, this is awesome. I have enjoyed my time with you. Thank you so much for being so generous.
Always good, man. It was a lot of fun.